But actually now, Jake Paul has got to think about what he's doing next. If you're that good and you think you're clever, why don't you fight Usyk? Alexander Usyk, he'll fight you. Let's see how that works out for you.
As the number 14 cruiserweight in the world, according to the WBA. This is an absolute mockery. It's an absolute disgrace. It's a total piss take.
To fight voluntarily to defend their championship against Jake Paul. Which, if I'm being honest, that's kind of crazy, bro. Isn't that crazy? Right? You're telling me you fought somebody that's not a natural cruiserweight, right?
Boxing professionals and fans are furious over the WBA's shocking decision to rank Jake Paul in the top 15 cruiserweights. Many see it as an insult to fighters who've spent years climbing the ranks. Jake hasn't fought a single top level. Opponent only retired boxers or unknown names with little challenge. This move has sparked outrage, with many insiders calling for a boycott and demanding more integrity in boxing's ranking system. They argue that rewarding fame over real skill disrespects the sport and its hardworking contenders.
So I've just found out that Jake Paul, the YouTuber, influencer, who has been doing a bit of boxing against people who aren't boxers, aside from Tommy Fury, who is a complete novice boxer, and an old retired champion in Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who has been through rehab and all kinds of stuff, been out the ring for quite a while, an OAP Mike Tyson, who physically is in a terrible place, and two now inactive cruiserweights called Andre August and Ryan Borland, who I have absolutely no idea who they are. I've just found out that that's what qualifies you as the number 14 cruiserweight in the world, according to the WBA. This is an absolute mockery. It's an absolute disgrace. It's a total piss take. I've been in the middle of making another video about Hamza Shiraz and Edgar Berlanga, and I've had to just stop what I'm doing and make a reaction to this. And I'm just going to go in raw here because I'm absolutely furious. I'm absolutely furious. Like, this is the sort of shit that we have to deal with as boxing fans. Everybody in this sport, and I call it a sport because that's exactly what it is, tries to treat it like it's just a business, like it's just a way of lining their back pockets. You cannot tell me in any world that Jake Paul has done enough to be ranked as the number 14 cruiserweight in the entire world. And I want to be really clear from the off, this isn't actually an attack on Jake Paul's boxing ability, because that's not what this is about. It's about what have you done to show me you're the 14th best cruiserweight in the world. Because for all I know, you might put him in there and he might do really bloody well, but that's not the point. You have to earn that position. How can you have earned that position? By fighting a bunch of influencers, athletes from other sports, and having lost to one of the only active boxers that you've actually faced, in Tommy Fury, who very much is a part-time boxer at this point in his life. And then your most recent and highest profile win being against a guy who didn't throw a bloody punch for the first half of the fight.
Boxing fans are fed up. Everyone in the sport, yes, it's a sport. Not just business, wants to treat it like it's all about money. But let's be real. Jake Paul being ranked the 14th best cruiserweight in the world, that's not about skill. And to be clear, this isn't even about Jake's boxing ability. It's about what he's actually done to earn this spot. Sure, he might step up and surprise everyone, but that's not how it works. He hasn't earned it. He fought influencers, ex-athletes, and lost to Tommy Fury, who's barely even active. His biggest win was against someone who didn't throw a punch for half the fight. After Happy Punch broke the news, fans were outraged. Jake is now eligible to face Zordo Ramirez, and many feel that's just wrong. He hasn't proven himself. Real fighters grind for years, and now they might be forced to defend their careers against a YouTuber who skipped the line. This undermines the whole division's integrity.
Beating Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. has now been moved to number 14 in the WBA official rankings, meaning he can be a voluntary defence for Zurdo Gilberto Ramirez's world title. But this is now where we need to beg the question of what is wrong with these rankings, because there is no world where Jake Paul is the 14th best cruiserweight. What do we do? What's boxing got to do to save this? Is it go to a one belt division like the UFC have, or is it just for the divisions that we've got and the belts that we've got to actually just sort themselves out? Make sure you subscribe for the updates, we'll keep it coming, but this is mental.
The backlash got even louder as insiders began accusing the WBA of chasing profits instead of principle. Giving Jake Paul a top 15 ranking seems driven more by his ability to sell tickets than by what he's done in the ring. In doing so, the WBA has risked its credibility with fighters who've sacrificed everything to climb the ladder. Many now believe the cruiserweight division has been compromised, where business deals carry more weight than sporting values. Champions feel their titles have lost meaning.
After defeating Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., the WBA decided to give Jake Paul a ranking. According to them, he's the 14th best cruiserweight boxer in the world. I know they're trying to push him for a title shot and it's the show business and whatnot, but you're disrespecting all the cruiserweight boxers with this one. And to even be ranked, aren't you supposed to actually defeat someone who's ranked? Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. hasn't been ranked in years.
Still, Jake Paul's win over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. played a big role in this new ranking. What started as a sideshow is now being taken seriously. That victory opened doors for Jake. He's no longer just an internet celebrity, he's in line for real fights. Whether fans like it or not, the boxing establishment is being forced to acknowledge him. He's changed the conversation. But many argue the praise is premature, given how weak the actual win looked when you dig into the details.
So now that Jake Paul won his fight against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., he's apparently ranked top 15 cruiserweights in the world. And apparently, I guess now, world champions are able to fight voluntarily to defend their championship against Jake Paul. Which, if I'm being honest, that's kind of crazy, bro. Isn't that crazy? Right? You're telling me you fought somebody that's not a natural cruiserweight, right? And now you're automatically ranked top 15 and you can fight a couple of world champions and it makes sense. Not that I think he beats any of them. I'm going to be completely honest. I can't see it, bro. If Jake ends up beating somebody, yo, shout out to him. He finessed his way to the fucking top and a world champion and really like cemented himself into the history books. But the way that he boxes, he's just very sluggish. It's kind of slow. You know, I think any cruiserweight world champion, even Badu Jack, will defeat him. And I actually don't even understand why he even wants to fight Anthony Joshua, besides the bag, obviously. But what do you guys think, though? This whole shit has gone crazy.
Critics of Jake's rise are quick to point out that his win over Chavez Jr. wasn't impressive at all. Chavez, once respected, barely showed any fight. He looked like a punching bag more than a competitor. The lack of offense made Jake's job easy. What should have been a serious test became a slow sparring match. Celebrating that as a huge achievement feels empty to fans who expect real competition and grit in the ring.
He did not throw barely any punches for the first half of the fight.
More than half. First 8 rounds, you might say.
Yeah, and a little life at the end, but too late when he knew the fight was winding down on time. I say this, that it was hard for me to gauge the performance of Jake Paul. It's essentially a sparring session. And I'm trying to see, is he continuing? Is he developing? Is he getting better? And off of this fight, it was hard to gauge when you're fighting a puncher bag. But then towards the end of the fight, I thought he was exposed. The stamina started to dip. The defense wasn't tight. There was some technical flaws. You could find them. You could hit him. In the end, he gets a decision. He gets another win. He keeps his show moving on. What'd you make of this fight? What'd you think of Jake Paul and his performance overall?
Making no excuses for Jake Paul. Give him credit for what he's done with his career, with his promotion, with his business, with his dream. Give him credit. Give the guy credit. God almighty, he takes risks.
Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.'s history of underperforming is well known. Even at his best, he often let fans down. And with his personal issues like time and rehab, he was nowhere near peak form when he fought Jake. Many believe that's exactly why Jake's team picked him. Beating a faded name still carries hype without real risk. That kind of matchmaking makes fans feel like Jake is manipulating the system to jump ahead without taking real risks.
Chavez Jr., one guy performed, one guy did what he was supposed to do, brought the fight in, and one guy just didn't. And if I'm talking about Jake Paul and a former world champion, you'd think that what I'm about to say favors the former world champion. And then you realize I'm talking about Chavez Jr., and then you say, no, well, okay, we have to flip those because Chavez Jr. is known for disappointing on the biggest stage, and that's what happened again here. I cannot do how disappointed I am in watching Chavez Jr. over the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds throw a total of 36 punches. I didn't say land. That's not what I said. I said throw. Chavez Jr. threw 36 punches over 5 rounds. And out of the 36 he threw, he landed 8. 8 punches through 5 rounds. 15 through 6, 20 through 7. He landed 20 punches through 7 rounds.
Rayo Valenzuela's praise for Jake's performance gave some fans a reason to pause. As a fighter, Rayo's words held some weight, suggesting Jake's progress in the ring shouldn't be totally dismissed. He seemed to acknowledge the hard work Jake put in. But others question if Rayo was just being respectful rather than truly endorsing Jake's top 15 spot. One win over an aging, underwhelming opponent doesn't sit right with fans who followed boxing's grueling ladder for years.
I missed you, I want to get your reaction to the fight.
Oh, great fight. Julio's back after all he's been through, so, I tip my hat off to him. It's not easy, especially through, when life throws at you sometimes, but, it was a good fight.
What'd you make of how Jake Paul looked and fought?
He's doing his thing. Jake Paul's looking good. Shout out to him.
Do you think he's ready to, fight, maybe a top 15, top 20?
Sure, yeah.
So I guess where does Junior go from here in your opinion?
It's up to him. He can retire if he wants, or he can have another, fight like this. Fight a YouTuber or something.
Yeah. In terms of you, Rayo, when can we see you back in the ring?
I'll be back in the fall, hopefully.
The fall?
Yeah.
Do you have an opponent in mind?
Nothing set in stone.
All right. Hey, just want to get your thoughts. The rematch between Lamont and Roach, how do you see it? Tank and Roach.
That's a good fight. 50-50 fight, like the first fight. I'm going to go, I don't know, whoever.
Finally, Canelo and Crawford. Break it down.
That's a good fight, man. That's a good fight. It's hard to count Crawford out, man, because he's just a dog. And if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be Crawford or Benavidez, So, Crawford, I don't know. I'm 50-50.
All right, Rayo, thank you.
Thank you.
Jake Paul's ambitions clearly aren't slowing down. His public challenge to Canelo Alvarez for a cruiserweight world title. Fight shows not only his confidence, but also his grasp of how boxing works as a business. Jake seems to believe that. Even someone as accomplished as Canelo might consider the bout, tempted by the huge payday a spectacle like this would bring. While some applaud Jake's boldness, others see it as more proof that his career is driven by headline-making moments, rather than serious sporting goals.
It's Canelo. I mean, this moment will prove that I'm the face of boxing, the largest attraction. And me versus Canelo at 200 pounds for the cruiserweight championship of the world. It's even bigger than me versus Tyson, and it makes so much sense. Canelo's on his way out. He's going to want a payday, and I want to show the world that all the shit I've been talking about beating Canelo is actually true, and I'll have the biggest upset in the sport of boxing. Show that I have more followers than, etc. This is going to be the most watched fight of the century, so I'm going to be the new money man.